What's up, Internet World, with the News 19 Nerds? I'm Leroy.
I'm Grace.
Alright, we're back. We told you we're going to do another video. Grace is here to give us her top, top three? What did we decide on? 4, 3?
I think 4 categories.
Okay, 4 categories. So I'm trying to get back in anime. Grace is our expert, our resident expert. And so I'm going to throw some genres at her and she's going to tell us what anime we should try to watch that if you like this, you'll like this. So let's start with the big one. We did superheroes last time. The pretty big franchise, I would say, that worldwide franchise everybody watches or has watched is Star Wars. If you like Star Wars, what should you watch anime-wise?
So I'm going to give you guys 2 suggestions, and for 2 different reasons. So the first one, if you really like space, and I will admit this gives me more Spaceball vibes than Star Wars, but it is really funny and it is really good. It does have good scenes. It's not as, it's not as bad as Spaceballs.
Okay.
So it is.
Take that back. Spaceballs is very.
It is great, but it's not. It's more serious than Spaceballs, I should say. It is called Cowboy Bebop, and we have it right here. You know that.
Thank you. Thank you. Tell the people why they should watch it, though.
It is an anime classic. Honestly, I want to say it aired in 1998, so it is, older. It's an old generation. And honestly, the characters are good. The animation's good for being so late, and also the dub and the sub are both equally good. Sometimes the English dub isn't as good. I watched this in English dub and I liked it just as much. And the first episode is honestly really intriguing. It will grab you. Agreed.
So we talked about Death Note, and a lot of Japanese anime is getting live action updates or versions. How do you feel about this one getting an update or a live action version of it?
It really just depends on who's doing it, but I would hope, since we have Star Wars and Spaceballs, we could do a decent job at it.
Okay.
But you never know, honestly. And there are just some things that you can't really do with special effects that you can do in animation, especially, that's why I really like a lot of the fight scenes in animes, because, the sky's the limit. As long as you can draw it, it can happen.
All right. This is one of my top 10 or top 5. For me, I grew up watching Cowboy Bebop, so I have it in every genre format you can think of. I have it in DVD, Blu-ray, I have it digitally. You name it, I have it. If they made a laser disc of it, I would buy it. So I'm a sucker for it. I've got Funko Pops of Spike, Spike Ein. I want a corgi because of this show. Not because the Queen has them, but because there was a corgi in this show. So I'm really looking forward. I'm one of the few people looking forward to the live action version, just to see if they can duplicate that feeling that you got watching the anime. So I thank you for recommending this one. What's your second one?
My second one, and it is because it is a little bit more on the political side like Star Wars is, and it also has the good versus evil. I'm going to say Full Metal Alchemist.
Really?
Yeah.
So if you like Star Wars, you will like Full Metal Alchemist.
Yes. Instead of lightsabers, they're fighting with alchemy, which sounds a little weird, but that's how they fight, and they can basically build stuff with it to fight people. And it is, so Star Wars has a lot of Nazi Germany associations, and so does
fascism, that whole idea.
So does Full Metal Alchemist. So there's very much a comparison there. And I'll just give you a little bit of a synopsis. So the main character is 2 brothers, basically, Ed and Al, and they play with alchemy, and the younger brother loses his body and becomes a big tin man. And the older brother loses his arm and has a robotic arm thing. And they basically spend their whole life, 1, trying to find their dad, who left them when they were younger, and 2, trying to find how they can get their body parts back.
So the funny thing you mentioned this is because I hear a lot of people talking about it, how much they love this anime. Friend of the show, Jorg, who's the owner of the local comic book shop here, Heroes and Dragons, has 2 tattoos. One of them is Full Metal Alchemist.
And I will say, make sure you watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Okay.
And not Full Metal Alchemist. You can watch both if you really like the series, but Full Metal Alchemist, just Full Metal Alchemist, the ending is more of like a fan fiction, and it is not manga, so it's not accurate. And then Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood actually follows the manga a lot better.
So watch Brotherhood, not
Full Metal Alchemist. Watch Brotherhood if you're gonna watch either, and then you can choose if you want to watch both.
Okay, all right. Let's go with horror. So this was one I asked you about, and then you were like, let's break up this category, because you were like, there's psychological horror, there's thriller, which we had in the last video, which was Death Note and Death Parade. So what is horror for you in this genre?
Horror is like your typical scary movie, you know, like killing and like murder, like Friday the 13th, Jason, those kind of things.
All right, what you got for us?
My first one, this is a newer one. I really like it. I'm going to say High Rise Invasion. And basically, people wake up, the main character wakes up on the top of a high-rise building, and she is basically put in this game and where these people with masks try to kill people without masks. And she's trying to figure out why the masked people are killing everyone, and how to find her brother, who is also somewhere on
another high rise.
Yes, and it's literally just all high rise buildings that they're on, and there's like rope bridges that you can cross, and it is very definitely crazy. With it's not like super gory. There is bloodshed, but it is really good. It's like kind of like The Purge, I want to say. That's the closest movie that I could relate it to.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But it is a little different because it's not just 24 hours. It's until, you get out.
Okay, all right. So what's the second one? We got This is High Rise. This is a High Rise Invasion. So what's the second one that you would recommend?
The second one I'm going to say is Future Diary, and it is a little bit older.
All right.
And it starts off with the main character being a guy, and his cell phone can predict 5 minutes into the future of what he's going to do. And basically,
that sounds like it could be useful.
He then realizes that he's put in this game with, I want to say, like 10 other people, and 10 people including himself, and they are all fighting and have to search and hunt and kill each other to become the next god.
So a young man competes with people around the world for a chance to become the successor of God with a diary that is able to tell the future.
And every other of the people of the group of 10, they also have diaries that help them do anything. Like one has an escape diary, so whenever she's in a situation, her cell phone will tell her how she can escape. But then there's also the side character that is in love with the main character, and her diary ironically tells her what the main character is going to do in the future.
How in the hell do you kill any of these people if everybody has something that's helping them get away?
I'm not a fan of spoilers, so you're gonna have to watch to find out.
Okay, all right, you got me there.
And it is a shorter one. It's 2 seasons and 20.
This one, it says 27 episodes.
Yep, and then there is also, if you want kind of like a more fuller ending, there is an OVA episode that kind of wraps things up pretty nicely.
All right. So we talked in the last one. I kind of sprung it on you because I had to get your opinion because you mentioned romance, and so you mentioned the series, Your Lie is in April.
Yep.
Is that the only one, or is that the quintessential one you want to recommend for everybody?
I also have some other ones. I'll give you guys the most popular, one of the most well-known romance anime movies, and it is called Your Name.
I've heard of this one.
The animation is beautiful. It is one of my favorites. I shed a tear every time I watch it. It's so adorable.
Okay.
So basically it's about this guy and this girl. They're both the main characters, and one of them, the girl, lives in the countryside and the boy lives in Tokyo in the city, and they both wish they could, you know, kind of swap lives. They both wish, one wishes she could be a boy in Tokyo, the other wishes that he could be out, like, you know, relaxing in the countryside and not having to do, you know, the Tokyo lifestyle. And so they end up switching bodies, and they don't understand why, and nor do they know who they are. And so, kind of like the name, Your Name, they basically try to find each other to figure out, you know, who this person is. But, you know, like with any anime, there's definitely a twist.
Okay. All right. So I've heard of this one. This one has been recommended to me before. So I'm not shocked you recommended this one. What's another one? Because I know you got another one.
Yes, this is okay. So I'm done with all the sappy, sad stuff. I'm gonna give you guys a really good, like, feel good romance anime, so you know I'm not just trying to break your heart.
Make people cry at home by themselves.
Yes, this is definitely an easygoing, just like feel good. You'll love it. It's called Horimiya, and it's HORIMIYA.
Okay.
And it's because it's two parts of their names, like Hori-san and Mia.
Okay.
So it's basically their names combined to make Horimiya. And it is just like high schoolers and their kind of love journey with each other. One girl's super popular in school, everyone wants to date her, and the other one is really shy and a little bit like of a loner. And the main character, the girl, she ends up seeing the lonely guy out of school in regular clothes, and she sees that, you know, his hair is down and he has like tattoos and piercings and is completely different than what she thought he would be, and they end up liking each other.
Okay.
And it's only 12 episodes, so it's really easy to watch, and all of the side characters you will absolutely love.
All right. So we've gone from horror to romance, and our last category is action. So
it's a lot to get into.
So I think this is the one that's going to be a lot of people going to be like, okay, this is what I wanted. So if you are a fan of action movies like John Wick or, you know, Fast and Furious movies, any of that kind of stuff, your Rambos, your Commando, whatever you want to call it, what would you recommend for those people?
Okay, so I'm sorry guys, but I am gonna say a couple longer ones, but they are worth watching. It's what every anime watcher should watch at least. So the classic one I'm going to say is Naruto. Okay. And I see you already typing it out. He already knew. It's only 720 episodes, guys. It's only...
How many seasons is that?
I'm honestly not sure. It's two different series. The first series is 220 and the second is 500. And yes, I am a nerd and I do know that.
Good Lord.
But it basically follows a guy who wants to be the leader of his village and be the most powerful ninja of all. And it is a classic. If you guys haven't heard about it, how are you even a nerd? Are you sure you're a nerd? I
know I've heard of it. So I see the memes all the time. I see so give me kind of a crash course in Naruto.
So a guy grows up being a loner. No one wants to be friends with him. He doesn't have any parents and he lives by himself. And he's not very good at his ninja training either. He gets into the ninja academy and he really doesn't like this one guy who seems to be popular with all the girls. And he is really powerful and smart also. And they get paired up to be on a team together with another girl. So it's just teams of 3 in the ninja academy and in the village. And so it's basically the adventures of these 3 and their sensei. And after the first series, the boy, not the main character, but the other side character, the guy, he ends up leaving the village. And it's basically Naruto, the main character, trying to find his friend again. So it really is like the power of friendship, and it is really good. It is really good. And the fights are amazing, and yes, you will laugh and cry. And I cried like 2 times, and it is really sad, but it's also great, and it's so moving. I got chills watching some of the fights.
would you recommend Boruto?
I wouldn't.
Since you recommended Naruto.
So, Boruto is Naruto's son. I do not like Boruto. And you guys can hate me. I don't like it.
Takes.
But there is also, I know some of you guys out there don't like Boruto either.
Oh, Grace didn't even wait for the third video before she just started throwing shots.
People that know me know that I do not like it. I dropped it after 5 episodes. But if you guys want to watch more than 720 episodes, there is The Adventures of His Son.
Okay. Alright, so you got Naruto. What else you got?
This is going to be a short one. It's also a classic, though. And it is called Gurren Lagann.
I've heard of this one before.
And it is actually really good. And a lot of the common things with action animes is that it is just a lot more than action. There's so much plot to it, and you will laugh and cry. Like I said, I did in Naruto. I also cried watching Gurren Lagann. And it's basically these people that live underground, and 2 guys end up trying to go to the top to see what's above land.
Excuse me. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And so they get to the top and they meet people and realize that they could have been living at the top the whole time, but there's a catch because stuff happens. Bad guys happen. I don't want to spoil anything, but it is a lot more than that. And it is only 28 episodes.
Okay.
And so it's really easy to watch, but it is great.
So cave people decide they want to come up to the surface, and bad stuff happens.
Yep, they have to fight the bad guys, because there are, like, the bad guys live above the surface, which is what originally drove them into underground. But there are some villages that live up top and just, fight the bad guys. But I will say, it is a mecha anime, which means there's a lot of, like, machinery and, like, robot fights. So if you're not really into that, don't watch it. But if you're willing to give it a shot, it is really great, and one of the characters is absolutely hilarious.
Okay. Gurren Lagann.
Yep.
All right. So now we did genres. So what are your honorable mentions for people who like, here's something that's easy to watch that we didn't talk about, doesn't really fit in a genre that you should actually check out?
This one is in my top 5, and it honestly kind of spans through all of the genres. Not all, but it spans through a lot of genres, and it is called Attack on Titan, or AOT for short. Okay. And it is one of my favorites. Like I said, I loved it so much, I didn't want to wait for the last season to come out, that I just went ahead and read ahead to see what happened. Okay. And I never thought I would be reading a Japanese comic book and crying, but you know what? I definitely did. I was in the car crying, reading it while my dad was driving.
Does your dad look over and be like, what is wrong with her?
He was like, Grace, just stop reading. And I'm like, I can't, Dad.
So we got Attack on Titan. Anything else?
Another one would definitely be Code Geass.
Okay.
And it, again, is another mecha anime, so it is machinery, fights. But it also is similar to Death Note, which we talked about earlier in the other video. And in the sense that the main character is so smart. I think his IQ is actually higher than the 2 characters in Death Note even.
L and
Light.
Light, okay.
And so he's very smart, and he is an anti-hero, and that's not a spoiler, I promise. You guys will realize this early on. So it's very similar to Death Note and Attack on Titan in that they are anti-heroes, but Lelouch, the main character, is definitely a little bit more special than the other 2.
All right, so those are the animes you should watch. Simple, I want to call them simple. Easy to get in. Something, well, I noticed you didn't recommend Neon Evangelion. I noticed you didn't mention that. There's quite a few other ones you did mention. So these are the ones that you think be easy for people, or if you've never gotten an anime, this is your gateway into this new drug.
I think this will get you hooked.
All right. So, guys, that's it for us. We're going to be doing more videos. Grace is going to try to get me an anime, and I'm going to do everything I can to get her in all of this. So she has no money.
It's a fair trade.
So my wife's going to hate you. You can find us on YouTube. That's right here. Instagram, Facebook, WOTX.com. Also, look for Grace where?
On Instagram, at Grace With Them, and for my anime TikTok, Real Grace With Them.
All right, guys. That's it for us. Peace.
Bye.